This is the Megacast with Valiant Karen and Mega Mario.
Well, let's start with the big announcement, Karen. I think the biggest rumor, for the week, I should say, is the rumored Booster Gold Blue Beetle team up. And I'm going to let you go first because I'm going to go on a rant.
No.
And I don't want to do all the talking, but I definitely have a lot to say about this. So I'll let you go first and you can give everybody your thoughts on this rumor.
Well, the rumor is that Greg Berlanti, oh, sorry, butchered that name. But he is one of the writers for Flash, Arrow, and now Supergirl.
Yeah, he's one of the showrunners.
So he is a big name for DC, TV shows. But now supposedly he's gonna direct this buddy cop, franchise. Well, not franchise, but movie with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. And I was a little surprised to hear about this because we know DC goes more with the darker tones. I mean, this is going to definitely be more of a funny tone, especially when you got Booster Gold. That's nothing too serious about Booster Gold. He's more of that funny, more laid back. I don't want to say like lazy, but he's just, a little spacey sometimes, but I do love him. I'm glad that they're going to have him in this now DC universe. But I'm wondering are they eventually going to be part of, maybe Batman, Superman?
Part of the Justice League?
Part of the Justice League because they're more, like I said, on the lighter side. They're, more funnier. So, but I guess we'll see. But I'm happy with the news.
All right, so here we go on my rant, my Blue Beetle Booster Gold rant. Well, it's a rumor right now, obviously, so we don't have all the details, but I am happy about this. I'm happy because DC does need to start developing other characters. And I don't want a DC always to be doom and gloom. I think Booster Gold and Blue Beetle would inject a new fresh air, a new fresh vibe into the whole universe and attract more people. I want to talk about the characters a little bit. I like Blue Beetle, I really do. But just like Karen is gonna, has talked about or will talk about, I love Booster Gold. And I love Booster Gold because he's such a glory hound. He's such a paparazzi poser. He's such a wannabe. It's funny, and sometimes it becomes pathetic, where you almost feel bad for him, where you just want to kind of give him attention because he's not going about it in a terrible way. You could say where he turns you off, but it's just funny. He's just to me such a good character. Also, Booster is a time traveler, so a lot of times he uses knowledge of the future to stage events for himself. So he comes across like, "Hey, I know what's going to happen, and I saved the day, and look at me, I'm such a great hero." And I think all of these are great elements for a good superhero story when it comes specifically for Booster. And since Booster's origins are tied to time travel, he basically, like I said, he comes back from the future and tries to use his knowledge of the future to his benefit. I think that would open up another side of the DC universe.
Yes.
For example, the Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. I forgot about them.
Real quick, for some people who don't know, the Legion of Superheroes are superheroes kind of in the future. If you're familiar with Teen Titans, they're kind of like an expanded Teen Titans, but in the future, like the year 3000. And they're into space travel and all kinds of things.
Is that the one where they have like the Brainiac from the
future?
Right.
There's a good Brainiac. Yeah. There's like Ultra Boy.
Oh yes.
Yep. There's all kinds of things. So I think that would be a great thing. It's almost like as if the way Marvel went from developing their Avengers to Guardians of the Galaxy. This could be kind of the same thing. And from the rumors we're hearing, this Blue Beetle / Booster Gold is being handled by Greg Berlanti, and Greg Berlanti is one of the showrunners for Flash, and he's shown that he can handle time travel without it becoming a total disaster. He's shown that he can tell a nice linear story where, okay, this is what's happening, and things aren't getting too out of control with multi-universes and things like that. He makes it where the audience can understand it, so you're not watching it and then going, huh? Or I don't understand how this is happening, and there's all signs of time continuum, repercussions, and things like that. I like the way him and his team are doing it. So, again, Booster Gold is one of those characters that even though he is such a glory hound, he is those things, he really does have a heart of gold. And underneath it all, he's just trying to be greater than himself. He just goes about it the wrong way, but that's essentially what Booster Gold is trying to do. He wants to be greater than himself. He wants to give back. He just wants to, so much to be great. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially now in today's world of Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Periscope and all these things. We're always looking for another event. We're looking for something to kind of, catch our attention. And that's what Booster's trying to do. Booster's trying to be everything, all in one. He wants all the attention. And I think he would fit in perfectly in today's society. I think he can make a really quick, fast-paced Booster Gold thing. And, he's got some cool powers. He's got, some gauntlets. He's got some shields. In the cartoon, he's got skeets. Yeah, which I think would just be funny.
Yes.
And
so I was saying, sure, sir. What about this, sir?
Exactly. And just poor Skeets is like, oh, another Booster Gold idea, another Booster Gold, genius.
It's like,
genius
I'll give it my
idea.
best shot, sir.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, those are on the Justice League Unlimited show. So Booster's just got a lot of potential, and that's why I think he'd be great in his own just movie by himself, without even Booster Gold. All those elements, like I said, the time travel, kind of the way he's just developed into a superhero. I think all those things, his development would be good, even if he doesn't join the Justice League. And imagine if he did join the Justice League, that would be even something better, where he'd kind of represent kind of a lighter side of things. And then when it comes to Blue Beetle, I think my question, Karen, is which Blue Beetle are they going to use? Because there's been 3 Blue Beetles, but realistically, I can only really see them using 2. Which is Ted Kord and Jaime Reyes. So for right now, in my opinion, I think Jaime would be a better choice because he's from Hispanic descent. And
you got diversity there.
And there really aren't a lot of characters around, and this would appeal to a whole new demographic. Again, I talk about this all the time. The worldwide box office is huge, and studios, whether we realize it or not, are always planning and always looking at the worldwide box office. And this just, I think, would open up the DC universe to maybe some people who maybe hadn't seen it before, specifically in Latin America and things like that. This could be a really, really big character in that sense. So, I think Jaime too, because he's younger. I think we get to kind of see a coming of age hero. I think we get to see somebody who's younger coming into this DC shared universe with fresh eyes. Maybe we can kind of see it from his point of view. I think all those things would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, now it makes sense why Blue Beetle wasn't used on Arrow, because originally Greg, Mark, and the other showrunners, they actually wanted to use Blue Beetle instead of the Atom, but when they went to Warner Brothers, they were like, oh no, we've got big plans for him, so now we know. And down the line, I think what they could do is use the storyline for Batman, the Brave and the Bold, for him to work with the Green Lantern Corps. I think that would be another great story, but first I would like to see, obviously, him working with Booster Gold, and then maybe, who knows, he will work with the Green Lanterns in the future.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with a team up, a Blue Beetle Booster Gold team up per se. I think Booster could carry a movie by itself, but I think specifically the first question you have to answer is, again, like I said, which Blue Beetle are you going to use? I'm in favor of Jaime, but if you use Jaime, then the whole Booster Gold Blue Beetle dynamic that has been played out in the comics and has a history in the comics goes out the window, because Jaime is a different character. Ted Kord, who's been the long-running Blue Beetle for a while, he was a Blue Beetle while I was growing up and reading every single comic book I can get my hands on. He's Ted Kord. That's the Blue Beetle. Like I said, it's been the longest running.
Yeah, Batman. He was really admired by Batman too.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a Batman character, where he's a genius. He's an inventor. He's very athletic, and he's been in a lot of support roles within the DC universe, within the comics. And because Ted Kord is an inventor, because Ted Kord, and to be honest with you, is a very noble person.
Yeah.
he could, at that point, play a more supporting role within the DC movie universe as a whole. I know DC with their New 52 things kind of changed things, but Ted Kord, spoiler alert, in the comics, he actually dies. He dies.
He sacrifices himself. Yeah.
Sort of sacrifices himself, defending kind of this information, trying to safeguard this information that the villains have gathered on most of the DC heroes. So Ted Kord comes across as a very noble hero. In the New 52, I think they brought him back. I haven't followed it very closely, but they brought him back. So, and there's also the Scarab. There's also the Scarab that has all these different origins and all these different ideas, which is one of the Scarabs that Jaime Reyes ends up with,
right,
that has links to, an alien race. So, the Scarab, we'll get into another time maybe as this project develops more. We'll explain that a little bit more. So, there's a lot of different ways you can go. You can go a Blue Beetle, and you could even tie this into to something else where, for example, the Scarab is tied to a group called the Reach.
The Reach, right.
And the Reach is sort of kind of this dominating empire-ish, alien race.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be its own little story in itself.
Yes.
And then, obviously, since it's intergalactic and sounds like a big threat, you can have the Justice League get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens as this story kind of develops and more information becomes available. But I'm glad that this is happening. Like I said, I do like both these heroes. I love Booster Gold, and I like that Greg Berlanti's involved. And I think that it's great that he's going to bring his vision and his take, which can be funny, which can be fast paced, which can be dramatic, but at the same time funny. All things rolled in one. I like that, and I like the fact that he's going to get a shot to kind of bring everything that he has to offer to the big screen.
Yes.
And we talk about Kevin Feige, or Kevin Feige. We talk about him on the Marvel side, and we're gonna get into him a little more in just a sec. But maybe Greg Berlanti can be even more of a bigger player in years down the road in the DC movie universe.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's done so well with the TV universe.
Mm-hmm.
I know Arrow, the last season wasn't its strongest for sure, but it's a lot for him and the writers to keep up with Flash, and then now they're doing Legends of Tomorrow too, and then now Greg is on another network for Supergirl. It's a lot, but hopefully Arrow will be a little bit better this season around, but he's already proven himself, Greg.
Yeah, and I think that whatever happens, I don't think we'll be seeing these characters probably until 2022.
Exactly.
After DC launches their big guns, and maybe these two heroes could be something along the lines of what I'm going to call the DC Universe Phase 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Where, maybe we've seen a lot of Superman, and we've seen a lot of Batman, we've seen Flash and Wonder Woman, and, even Green Lantern. This would be kind of something where we kind of something fresh, maybe kind of give us a little break and reset and retool things. And like we were talking about in this segment, these heroes their ties do run deep, and they're not just icing on the cake characters. They do have a lot of substance to them. Real quick, Booster Gold in the comics, he's supposed to be the father of Rip Taylor. Mm-hmm. Rip Taylor is going to be one of the time travelers. Is going to be showcased a lot in the new Legends of Tomorrow show on the CW. So Booster's ties run deep, and there's always been this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a prophecy, this message from time travelers that Booster Gold, he's to be protected because when everything hits the fan, when things get really bad, he's supposed to be really important. And he's supposed to be one of the people that saves the day.
Exactly. We cannot emphasize that enough because Booster Gold, literally, he's going to be a very important character because, like we were saying, he's definitely going to be saving the day. Maybe not once, maybe twice, And there was even, another episode where he used Skeet to wake up the Metal Men, to help him. He goes, Skeet, they're your people. You talk to them. So,
yeah, he's a rich character.
So he provides all of that. So
And again, I think Booster, and there's characters all over both DC and Marvel and anime, in cartoons, in other comics that they, once given the opportunity, they can really shine and they can really establish themselves.
Yeah.
And I think Booster Gold is definitely one of those characters,
Yeah.
and I can't wait. I can't wait.
We're gonna be seeing him take a lot of selfies now, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be seeing him take a lot of selfies, exactly, which is something that you wouldn't see Batman doing.
Right.
So that's definitely something really cool, and I can only imagine what social media and things are going to look like in 2022.
Right.
So I think he's the perfect hero, kind of like I said, to launch a new phase, breathe some fresh air into the DC universe.
Yeah, I think the actor, whoever they pick, is really gonna have to like bring a whole bunch of character.
Yes, a whole bunch of charisma.
A whole bunch of charisma.
Yeah, because even though Booster Gold sometimes could be a lovable hero, he's always very charismatic.
That's true.
He's always very charismatic, and that's the key right there. He's written in a way, he's portrayed in a way that he's always very charismatic. So even though he's trying to do something that you could be considered a little shady, a little slimeballish, using his knowledge of the future to make himself look better, he still does it in a charismatic way where you just like kind of love the guy. So yeah, it's going to have to be a certain kind of actor, and we'll definitely get into that as more news develops, because we love to do castings and we love to criticize castings and we love to give our 2 cents. So we'll do that as things develop.
The Megacast, your news source for superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, action, and adventure films. From MegaMovieNews.com.